What is up, YouTube? Today we're going over my UFC 325 predictions. Starting on the early prelims, working our way up. We have a lot of road to UFC guys. Opening up this UFC event, starting with Solen Grongbo versus Lawrence Liu. These are two road to UFC guys. They're fighting out of the bantamweight division, 135. From what I have seen from both these gentlemen, doing a little bit of research here and there, I'm gonna take Lawrence Liu. I think he's actually the underdog in this fight. These New Zealand guys, they're very crazy. I'm gonna take Lawrence Liu. Probably via decision. I don't see this being a finish. Bantamweights are not really finish heavy. At least the prospects. But from what I've seen from both these guys, I think Lawrence Liu has, just enough to get it over, a 3-round decision in this fight. It says bantamweight at the top. Sorry. Moving on. We have Sebastian Zale versus Kichiro Nakamura. Both two undefeated prospects from road to the UFC. Another featherweight bout on this card. Honestly, Sebastian seems to be the favorite here. I'm going to pick Sebastian as well. I think Sebastian is going to, let's look at these. They don't have any really fight stats on here as of yet. Let's look at these striking stats. Striking defense, Sebastian. Absorbed per minute. Okay, so he's durable. Sig, Sebastian, and landed per minute, Kichiro. I'm gonna go Sebastian. I think that's a safe pick via decision. Moving on, Songwook Kim versus Dom Mar Fan. I'm actually gonna go with Songwook Kim. He's the underdog here, but I actually know more about Songwook Kim than I do Dom Mar Fan, and I think this is a safer pick. A lot of Asian ethnic people on this opening card. And it's good to see some more Asians pop into the UFC. China, Japan, Korea, South Korea, Japan, China, China. It's good to see some more Asians pop onto the scene. I'm gonna take Songwook Kim probably via a TKO here. He's got some handwork. As you can see, landed per minute, 6 strikes. Absorbed defense. I mean, he just the stat line on the strikes. Grappling, maybe not, but I'm gonna take Songwook Kim via TKO, probably a 3rd round TKO. Khan Ofli versus Yiza. I'm going Ofli. I know more about Ofli than Yiza. I'm gonna take Ofli via decision. Little round 3 decision. A lot of feather and bantam. We had 2 featherweight bouts, a bantamweight bout, and a lightweight bout on the early cards. Opening up the main prelims, we have Oban Elliott versus Jonathan Mikalev. You gotta go Oban Elliott, dude. Oban Elliott is that guy. He's one of the best, not one of the best, but one of the bigger welterweight names up on the rise. He's just very talented, very skilled. Now I know Jonathan, 8-1, he's got a good record. Oban's coming off a loss, but these Englishmen, England, the English people have been, on a resurgence in the UFC and have been on just a hot streak. And I think Oban Elliott can edge out a decision. He's the underdog here against Jonathan Mikalev. But I'm going to take Oban Elliott to outwork Jonathan. Show that this, 15 fight experience outweighs his 9 fight experience. And show why He is the next welterweight prospect to be looking at. Now, the people's main event, so early into the fight. It's kind of a shame that this is so early into the fight, because this is what we are looking at as the people's main event. Jacob Malkoun versus Torres Walk 'em down Finney. We all want Torres Finney to win. This is the people's main event right here. This is the people's champ. Torres Finney is the Dana White Contender Series merchant, the champion. If Dana White Contender Series had a champion, it would be Torres Finney. I think he's 3-0 on the Contender Series. Sure, he's had a couple snooze fests in the UFC, but that doesn't matter. He is the next Yoel Romero. He's middleweight DC. That's what people are calling him. 5'8", just like DC. Actually, I think DC's 5'10". Short and stocky. He can wrestle like a motherfucker. He can outbox you like a motherfucker. I've got Torres Finney. It's a shame that he's the underdog. I don't know how he's the underdog. He's going to show levels to Jacob, and he's going to show why he is the next middleweight. Why Hamzat should be shivering in his boots. Torres Finney is coming for everyone in the top 10. Everyone in the top 5. And he's coming for that UFC middleweight gold, baby. Torres Finney is the people's middleweight champion. Forget Israel Adesanya. Forget Sean Strickland. Forget Hamzat Chimaev. Forget Dricus du Plessis. We all want to know about Torres Finney. I've got Torres Finney via decision. Next, Cody Brundage versus Cam Rouston. How can you bet against Cody Walk 'em down Brundage? Nah, but seriously, I don't know. Cody Brundage would be the safer bet here. He has a lot more experience than Cam. He is coming off a loss, and he's a shorter man. He's also heavier. He weighed in at 202 for a 185 bout? What the hell? This has to be short notice then, you think. I think it is, actually. I don't know, but I'm going to take Cody Brundage. I think he just has more experience. And I think this is a safer pick. You could take Cody Brundage via decision, really, over anyone. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's whatever. But yeah, I'm going to take Cody Brundage over Cam Rouston. Ending the prelims, we have Junior... I'm picking fucking Billy Elecana. The Tafa brothers are fucking dog shit. They're horrible. He's 6-4. His record, I think he's 1-3 in the UFC. This should be a higher. He should be a higher favorite than a minus 250. He should be a minus 500 favorite. If Torres Finney is Torres Finney's an underdog, and this guy fighting Junior Tafa is a minus 250 favorite. This should be a minus 500 favorite. Junior Tafa's last win was probably on his debut. The Tafa brothers are fucking god-awful. I don't know how he's this low of a favorite. So yeah, Billy Elecana is going to smoke him around 1 TKO. Starting the main event strong. Killen Salkild versus Jamie Malarkey. You gotta go Killen Salkild. He is the biggest lightweight prospect as of now. You might say, oh no, it's Rufy. No. Killen Salkild is really the biggest lightweight prospect in the division. He's got great power. His striking's dynamic. His cardio's vast. His grappling's there. He's only got room for improvement. He hasn't peaked. I think he's going to smoke out Jamie Malarkey within 2 rounds. Probably a TKO. I think he's on a... I want to say a 3-fight finish streak via TKO knockout-ish. I think his last 3 fights have been won via finish. And they're all standing wins. Like KO wins. TKO wins. Yeah, 40% TKO win. 30% sub win, 30% decision win. I'm going to take Quillen Salkield. The minus, wow! He is a huge favorite. I didn't even see that. He's a minus 1,200 favorite, and this guy who's fighting Junior Tafa is only a minus 250 favorite. That doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Yeah, put everything you have on Quillen Salkield. He's going to smoke out Jamie Malarkey within 2 rounds. Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa versus Talishin Teixeira. What is going on? This one's a little hard. Talishin Teixeira, you might be quick to pick him, but he also did just get smoked out in his last fight to Derek Lewis. And you might say, oh, that was an early stoppage. Maybe. But he still got smoked on the chin by Derek Lewis. And who smoked Derek Lewis? Tai. You might want to pick the vet here. But I'm gonna go with the safe pick, and I'm gonna say Talishin Teixeira. Maybe he learned to not trust the big, stocky, heavy power punchers. Maybe he might play this one a little safer. Not take as much risk as he did against Derek. Use his range. He's 6'7". He's got an 83-inch reach, a 43-inch leg reach. He should be staying at range, picking him, with a jab and some low kicks. That's what he's built for. He's not built to get in close and exchange with heavy punches like Tai or Derek. He's built to stay, circle around the outside, jab, one, jab, 1-2s down the pipe, throw a little calf kick, throw a little leg kick, fling one up to the body. Tai's got a lot of body mass to hit. I think Tai's been out for a very long time, so there might be a little ring rust there. But there's also going to be, he's going to feel a little fresh. He's going to feel more durable. He's not going to feel as maybe chinny or as, beatable. I don't know. I think Talishin is the better option and the safer option. But there's always a chance Tai can land a big shot because we've seen Talishin Teixeira is chinny. He got smoked out and nuked by Derek Lewis. So I'm going to go with Talishin, but if Tai gets it done, I won't be surprised. Moving on. Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Ruffy, whatever. I reckon Rafael Fiziev gets it done via decision. I think he pulls Ruffy to a decision. I think Rafael Fiziev, he has way more experience, and I know there's only 17 fights for Fiziev, 14 fights for Ruffy. So that's 3-fight lead that Fiziev has. But he's been in the UFC longer than Ruffy. He's fought dangerous guys. I think he just beat, his last one's Bahamondes, I think. The fight before that was an Elda Gaethje. I don't know what the fight before that was, but then the fight before that I think was another Elda Gaethje. So he's fighting super high level comp. Ruffy's last win is Bobby Green. Actually, no. Yeah, his last win's come from Bobby Green because he KO'd Bobby Green and then got submitted by Benoit Saint-Denis in his last fight. So he lost to Benoit Saint-Denis, and before that, he beat a trash can in Bobby Green. Probably one of the most finishable lightweights on this planet. I don't think he can hang with Rafael Fiziev because we see Rafael Fiziev hanging with the top of the division like Justin Gaethje. He gave Gaethje 2 competitive fights. 2 very hard fights. And then he just beat Bahamondes, who's another dangerous guy in the division. I don't think Ruffy, as good of a striker as he is and very elusive as he is, quick and sharp and powerful as he is, Fiziev's faster. Fiziev's more powerful. Fiziev's sharper. Fiziev's more flexible. Fiziev is just a more dynamic striker when it comes to pure striking. I mean, sure, their striking odds might be a little similar, But when it comes to danger on the feet, Fiziev is much more dangerous. And for him to be an underdog is crazy. Because look at how he was dealing with Justin Gaethje. He was dealing with that fight phenomenally. Sure, he lost. Sure, he got dropped. But that's also Gaethje. If Gaethje could not knock out Rafael Fiziev, Roofy isn't. Roofy's not knocking out Fiziev if Gaethje couldn't. Look at what Gaethje was doing to Paddy Pimblett. Who has a stronger chin, Paddy or Fiziev? Fiziev. I'm taking Rafael Fiziev via decision, if not a round 3 TKO. Next, Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis. So Benoit Saint-Denis just beat Dariush in his last fight via KO in, I think, the second round. Maybe, I think it was the first round, actually. He just nuked Beneil with a big fucking overhand coming out of a clinch, putting him face first into the canvas. Dan Hooker coming off a loss to Arman Tsarukyan via submission in round 4. Man, this is going to be a very dangerous fight. This fight's going to be fucking dangerous. 1 inch in height, 2 inches in reach, 2.5 inches in leg reach. Man, this is going to be a bloody fight. This is going to be a 3-round absolute fucking war. This is the feature fight too. This is a 3-round feature fight, I think. Or a co-main event. This is a co-main event. This is a 3-round co-main event. I wish is this 3 or 5 rounds? It doesn't say. Hold on, let me hit a little Google search here. Hooker versus Denny 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-round fight. Oh my god. Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis for a 5-round fight. This is going to be a 5-round war. I don't see this being an early stoppage. I see this being like a Justin Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson-esque fight. I see this going 5 rounds of just straight boom, 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 back and forth, absolute battering each other for 5 rounds until at least one of them gives up. And I think it will be Hooker who gives up. I think Benoit Saint-Denis has more power in his hands than Dan Hooker does. I think when it comes to cardio, Dan Hooker, Benoit is better in cardio, but Hooker doesn't give up. Hooker fights through the tiredness, which is what makes him so fucking crazy. Who's the favorite? Benoit? This is hard. Fuck it. They knock each other out. Round 5, they hit, they both going for a big hook. They knock each other out. That's how I see this fight ending. Nah. But seriously, I think Benoit Saint-Denis gets it done in the late round 5. TKO. Dan Hooker just can't take it anymore. I think there's going to be pushing against the cage. Benoit just rips to the body. I think he's going to out-grapple Dan Hooker. I think he's going to land some mean ground and pound. I think Benoit gets it done late into the fight. TKO, Dan Hooker. That's how I see this fight going out. Now, for the main event, the rematch of the ages. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego. I was going to say walk him down, but I've already used that. Diego Lopez. In my mind, this rematch is very, very unnecessary. There was nothing in the first fight that said, man, I want to run this shit back. It's kind of disappointing that Diego Lopez gets a win over Gene Silva, of all people. And then we're like, yeah, let's give him another title shot immediately. When there's Aljamain Sterling, who's on a 3-fight win streak, his only loss, or 3-fight win streak, and his only loss in the division is to Evloev. And Aljo's a former champion at bantamweight. Then you have Evloev, who has beaten Aljo, who again was a former champion at welterweight. Evloev has beaten Diego Lopez. Evloev's undefeated. He sits at the number 1 spot, but he just got booked against Lerone Murphy in UFC London, I think. So you could have made Volk versus Aljo. That would have been a very entertaining fight, a very great and fun fight to watch. I mean, Volk's getting old, man. He's 38 years old. Diego Lopez is young, and we saw what Diego did to Volk in the first fight. And I don't want to see Volk go through that again at his old age. I'd rather him take a fight where he's not going to take as much physical damage like of Evloev or Aljo. They won't do that physical damage to Volk. I feel like both those fights will be more grappling heavy, which we know Volk can deal with. I have Volk winning this fight. I don't think as much as Diego has the potential to chin Volk and beat Volk, Volk knows Diego's game plan. He beat him 4-1, 3-2 in the first fight. I think he manages to do what he needs to do to stop Diego Lopez from edging out a win. I think Volk wins via decision. I think he does, he sticks to his game plan from before. He picks him apart at range and he stays, in his own lane and in his own flow. Volk's crafty. He's a crafty vet. I think Volk gets it done via decision. I don't know. This is a close fight like it was the first time. But I have Volk via decision. Yeah, that's my UFC 325 picks and prediction. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know, who you guys have in the main event, co-main, whatever. Yeah, I'm excited to watch. I might do a live watching companion. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about it. But definitely let me know what y'all think about this event. Let me know, if you like my picks. Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye.